The enemy has advanced near two settlements in the Donetsk region, specifically near Ilanivka by Kostiantinivka and Provilia, not far from Kramatorsk. This is according to data from the analytical portal Deep State. Meanwhile, the defense forces have had success in the Dobropillia area, write experts from the Institute for the Study of War. The General Staff reports that there were 238 combat engagements on the front line over the last 24 hours, with the most occurring in the Pokrovsk and Kostiantinivka directions. The General Staff also reports on strikes carried out by the defense forces, storage sites for enemy attack drones, as well as command post warehouses and ground-based signal repeaters. Ukrainian soldiers carried out these operations in the occupied territories of the Donetsk, Zaporizhia, and Crimea regions. Former U.S. presidential special envoy Kellogg is in Ukraine and has already visited Odesa. There, he saw what the Black Sea port looks like after numerous Russian attacks. Like the other ports, it has effectively not been receiving ships since July 22nd due to the intensification of enemy shelling. And yes, the grain corridor, which had been operating non-stop in recent years, is once again under threat. Officials from the Ministry of Development and Infrastructure, as well as Minister of Agrarian Policy Taras Vysotsky, told Kellogg about this. He noted that Russian attacks on port infrastructure, this is a blow not only to Ukrainian exports, but also to the stability of global food markets. Therefore, issues of shipping safety, repairing damage, infrastructure, and port protection were at the center of the discussion. Ukraine is interested in the participation of the United States, not only as an investor, but also as a technological and operational partner, the ministry reported. Recovery. Among the priorities are concession projects at the Chernomorsk port, the development of road and rail infrastructure, as well as projects in the water supply sector. Let me remind you, from the beginning of Trump's term until January of this year, Kellogg held the position of U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine. And when he visited the capital in this capacity, the Russians did not attack Kyiv. So Kyivans called Kellogg the best air defense, and the president of Ukraine even jokingly offered him citizenship so that he would stay with us longer. This time, people on social media were also joking about his visit, even though he no longer holds the official status of special envoy. Instead, his colleagues are still acting special envoys. U.S. presidential envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will not be coming to Kyiv this time. Despite their promises, they ultimately did not confirm their visit. TSN learned about this from its own sources. Sea blockade. Russia is cutting Ukraine off from the Black Sea. The ports of Greater Odesa, Ukraine's main maritime gateways, are currently closed. Although Ukraine has not officially closed its sea routes, they are effectively blocked. Due to Russian shelling, almost no merchant ships have entered the ports of Odesa since July 22nd. Over 100 attacks. In just 1 month, Russia has struck port infrastructure and merchant ships. This time, it is not only Ukraine that is suffering colossal losses, but Russia itself as well. Maria Vasilieva will explain how the war in the Black Sea is simultaneously affecting your grocery bill and global food prices.
A grim picture, an empty port where everything has come to a standstill. And if you see the outlines of ships on the horizon, they are most likely just the dead remains of semi-sunken merchant vessels, the result of Russian strikes. This summer, Russia changed its tactics, increasing attacks not only on port infrastructure, but also on the vessels themselves. There are dozens of destroyed ships, and more than 50 foreign sailors have been killed or wounded. The Russian attack on the bulk carrier Golden Leo on July 19th, which resulted in the deaths of 10 sailors and the sinking of the ship itself, became a point of no return for ship owners.
There were hits before the Golden Leo as well. The Golden Leo, just so many people died unfortunately, and then it sank completely from the damage. 3 missiles. They used them on this ship on July 20th, the systematic operation of Ukrainian ports. Black Sea deep water ones ceased. This doesn't mean that ships aren't entering at all. There are a few, if I'm not mistaken. About 30 ships have departed this month.
Farmers suffer the most from problems with maritime exports. For agricultural products, transportation by sea and through Danube ports is the main export route. In August, the export of Ukrainian grain fell 4-fold. As of mid-August, logistics costs for transporting grain have risen to $70 per ton. Inside Ukraine, The price of wheat is half of what is offered for it at international ports.
As of today, about 31 million tons of grain and legumes have been threshed, of which about 24 million tons is wheat. Accordingly, it needs to be exported because working capital is needed. This is not happening at the volumes that we were hoping for, and accordingly, this is putting a lot of pressure on prices within the country. In Ukraine, wheat is being sold for 5,000 to 6,000 hryvnias per ton, and there are regions where it's even 3,000 hryvnias per ton. This leads to colossal financial losses.
Farmers' losses have reached $3 billion and continue to grow. There's nowhere to store the harvest. The enemy is targeting terminals and grain elevators, of which there aren't that many here in the Odesa region because the ports are right nearby. So, for temporary grain storage, they use these kinds of polymer sleeves. One bag can hold 200 tons of grain, or approximately 3 railway cars. This is an American technology that Ukrainian farmers are now using in frontline territories, and generally everywhere where elevators and storage areas have been destroyed. The Danube, which saved grain exports during the blockade in 2022, cannot help right now either, due to record-breaking low water levels.
Unfortunately, we are forced to load the river fleet to only 60 to 70% of its cargo capacity. If we load it to 100%, it simply won't pass through the river channels, from the Danube River to the Black Sea near Constanta.
There are no alternatives to the corridors, meaning the Black Sea. If you look at what is moving today, then roughly 45% is the Danube. 45% is rail transport, and 10% is road transport. In total, for the first half of August, just over 600,000 have actually been shipped, which is significantly less than what we need.
Agricultural products are the main export commodity and a source of foreign currency revenue. But the blockade of the ports also affects another export industry, iron ore. While grain can be slowly exported by rail, for iron ore, the sea is effectively the only route because otherwise the cost of transportation increases, to the point where it's easier to stop production. Because of the blocked ports, the Poltava and southern mining and processing plants in Ukraine have already shut down. But the sea being locked up also hits imports. All our favorite imported goods are mostly container shipments. Recently, they were even increasing volumes. However, in July, both market leaders stopped serving Ukrainian ports. First Maersk, followed by CMA-CGM. For us, this means higher prices for imports.
95% of all global trade happens via maritime transport. Therefore, everything we receive, for example, containers, construction materials that were going to Ukrainian ports, not in containers but on ships, they are also now going to Constanta or other ports, and then traveling by land. This merchandise will 100% become more expensive.
However, today Ukraine is also striking back. Last week, after drone attacks, all 3 grain terminals at the port of Novorossiysk were shut down. A little earlier, the grain terminal in Taman stopped, and the Russian authorities blocked shipping through the Kerch Strait. So all export routes of the Azov Black Sea Basin, through which Russia transported about 40% for sale, of both its own grain and grain stolen from the occupied lands of Ukraine, are blocked. And the costs for Russian agriculture are rising not only because of logistics, but also due to the fuel crisis caused by Ukraine's attacks on oil refineries. The sea being locked down is becoming a global problem. Ukraine and Russia together provide about 1/3 of the world's wheat exports. In 2022, the naval blockade halted the export of only Ukrainian grain, and global wheat prices jumped to $300 per ton. Now, however, Russia has also been knocked out of the game at the same time. And that means this year, the price record could be broken. Turkey, countries in North Africa and the Middle East, which are the main buyers of Black Sea grain, as well as recipients of humanitarian aid, will suffer the most. Half of the World Food Program currently depends specifically on Ukraine. Kyiv, Serhiy Osadchuk, Ivan Savchenko, TSN 1+1 United News Marathon.
On Ukraine's Independence Day, partners will gather for a meeting of the Coalition of the Willing. This is reported by the publication European Pravda with reference to NATO headquarters. The alliance itself will be represented this time by Deputy Secretary General Radmila Shekarinska, who will join remotely, but the format and location of the event are being kept secret. It is only known that French President Macron, German Chancellor Merz, and the Prime Minister will participate. Of Great Britain, Starmer. He will be joining this format for the first time. At the last meeting in July, London was still represented by the previous head of government, Keir Starmer. At that time in Paris, the leaders agreed to conduct joint exercises for the Coalition of the Willing in Poland as early as this autumn and confirmed their intention to provide security guarantees after the end of hostilities. And 10 more states agreed to work on creating a pan-European system for ballistic missile defense. By the way, at that same time, the leaders agreed that their next meeting would take place in Ukraine itself. 5 years of UNITED24. This is a Ukrainian state fundraising platform that has united people from all over the world to support Ukraine throughout the entire time the platform has been operating. Since 2022, nearly $4 billion have been raised through it for our country's needs. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy spoke about this at the UNITED24 summit, where he met with ambassadors and volunteers. Among them are actress Catherine Winnick, actor, director, and producer Liev Schreiber, footballer Alexander Zinchenko, and chef and founder of World Central Kitchen, Jose Andres. Currently, 145 countries have joined UNITED24. These are millions of donors, famous ambassadors, international businesses, humanitarian organizations, and even school children from different countries. Thank you. They are organizing their own fundraisers to help our country. Zelenskyy noted that it is not just the funds themselves that are important, but also the connection that everyone creates between Ukraine and people all over the world. According to him, this support strengthens faith in Ukraine and helps Ukrainians endure in this war.
I thank you all that for the 5th year now, the platform is working. UNITED24. UNITED24, our state Ukrainian fundraising platform, a tool that helps all of us. Ukraine helps build thousands of strong, heartfelt, I would even say, connections with the whole world. And even those countries that do not help us
politically are represented in the fundraising, thanks to ordinary people. And at the same time, not ordinary, not simple, because they are not indifferent.
This is a special path for us. This is the day and the moment we have been waiting for so long.
We are finally good.
There have been no prisoner exchanges for a month and a half, and at this moment we still don't know how many of our people will return home. But ahead of us on the road, there's a convoy moving with as many as 8 ambulances. It's both good and bad because it means there are a lot of critical cases. The locals are watching the convoy moving toward the border closely. You asked how people find out that there's going to be an exchange. They come out in advance, watch, and in a few hours, they'll be standing here with flags to welcome our people home. Everything's ready at the assembly point. Things that were luxury items in captivity. Clean water, filtered cigarettes, and of course, apples. Now we can roughly estimate how many of our people are coming home today. By these apples, which have already been prepared for them, because this very fruit has become a symbol of the exchange. This is already the 77th exchange, and finally, it is known. 103 liberated Ukrainians are returning home on these buses. And at this moment, everyone is so tense. They are waiting here. Finally, the buses with our guys, now free. We can hear the Ukrainian national anthem coming from the buses. Alexander steps out into the open area and looks up at the sky. That's it.
Home! Look at the exit. The Ukrainian sky.
It's the first time I've seen the sky in 10 months.
The liberated soldier is worried about whether his grandson knows about him.
I haven't seen him for 3 years, since 22. I held him in my arms that time.
To calm down, maybe a phone call.
All right.
Overall, it's an explosion of forgotten flavors.
And
the chance to finally share my wishes.
I also have, a strange wish. They let us read books there. I'm nervous. I have a desire to reread the books that are published in Ukraine. From the series, maybe you're familiar with it, 100 Greats. There are 100 great spider catchers. Well, I would like to reread books from the series somehow.
Alexander Derkachov from Mariupol went to the front in 2024. He recounts how, before the prisoner exchange, they tried to persuade him in the Russian penal colony to stay at his place of registration.
The investigator says, "You have a house in Mariupol. Why don't you just stay?" Well, like they were trying to bribe me, as they say. I said that the house is there, but my life, my soul is in Ukraine.
Most of these men are soldiers. Only 2 are officers. Everyone returning today was officially confirmed as being in captivity.
Also, this door. You won't believe it. I was thinking about you too.
Of those returning home this time, only 1 person was taken prisoner in 2022. The rest of the 24/7 were taken prisoner this year.
Hello, old man. I'm okay. Everything's fine. I've returned. I've returned to Ukraine.
The oldest of those who are home is 59 years old. The youngest is 26.
Vanya Helena, this is Yulia Pavlyuk, Coordination Headquarters. Do you know who's next to me?
Go on, you go.
Hello?
I can hear you, loud and clear. You go ahead and take the lead now, Lona. I'll be right here waiting for you.
It's all okay.
Aren't you glad that you're alive? Everyone is waiting for you. Keep serving, stay strong.
That's it. Take care.
We've already been through the worst of it.
We always show you these calls because they are such short and such poignant.
Stories have the incredible power to transport us to entirely different worlds, allowing us to experience lives, cultures, and adventures far beyond our own reality, while teaching us profound lessons about the human experience along the way. Everything is ready.
Actually, that is fine.
I am already in Ukraine.
Although it's August outside, many are surprised by how warm it is at home and how cold it was in captivity, even in the summer.
By the way, I imagined it would be sunny. I imagined there would be a lot of beautiful Ukrainian people. It is very pleasant to hear the Ukrainian language. I really missed it a lot, because we weren't allowed to speak Ukrainian there.
Until the very last moment, they didn't know where they were being taken.
We didn't know what time it was or what day it was. We didn't know anything.
And how did you realize that you were finally going home?
When we were riding here in the ambulance, we were told that there would be an exchange now. I didn't know until the very last moment where I was being taken. 2 planes, and they were taking us somewhere. I didn't know where. It's very pleasant, unexpected. Thank you.
Among the returned people, many have injuries.
Welcome to Ukraine.
Welcome.
You home? Welcome back. We are very glad that you are finally in Ukraine.
National Guard soldier Volodymyr spent over a year in captivity.
I had an amputation of my left upper limb, including the shoulder joint. I spent 3 months in the hospital after the surgery. I hope they will fit me with a prosthesis and everything will be fine.
They are in a hurry to send greetings home, but not only to their own loved ones, but also to the relatives of those who still remain in captivity.
Thank you. Dad, Serhiy Serhiyevich Horzhov, born in 1985, from the Mykolaiv region, sent greetings to his sister and mother. He's alive, healthy, holding on, and waiting for the exchange.
We hope he returns soon. And welcome back to you.
And for the guys who are still there, let them know that exchanges are happening.
It's very difficult for them there, very hard. And I would like for them too, given the conditions, to be exchanged sooner.
I run into my colleague Sasha Abramov, with whom I once worked at one of the Ukrainian TV channels. I didn't know he had been in captivity. At first, I don't recognize him. Hi.
Colleague, you once locked me in the editing room.
That sounds just like me. We laugh about what happened 14 years ago, back when there was no war. It's so easy to laugh here today.
Great mood. I'm back in my homeland.
This is an unchanging tradition of the coordination headquarters for the treatment of prisoners of war, the mathematics of war, to count how many have managed to return home from captivity.
The first stage of another exchange has taken place. 103 of our defenders have returned home. And the coordination headquarters for the treatment of prisoners of war, on the instructions of the President of Ukraine, carried out this operation, mostly the seriously ill and seriously wounded. As of today, 9,616 defenders, both male and female, and civilians have already been released.
It is very pleasing that they do not cease to be ours. The military exchange is ready. I truly don't want this number to end here. I want everyone, every single person, returned home safely from this war.
Glory to Ukraine.
Glory to the heroes.
Those released from captivity are returning to the buses. Alexander gently holds a folded flag and talks about what is important.
All set. Ukrainian vareniki, Ukrainian borscht. That's
Understand?
an order for our most beautiful women, for our people. Because during the war, I was in the Odesa region, and in the Donetsk region, and in the Sumy region, and in the Chernivtsi region. I will say that our people are wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. They helped us a lot. Civilians gave us their last. And, you know, in those moments, you realize that there is something to fight for. Yeah.
His short list, borscht and varenki are on the list.
Vareniki with cherries, with cheese, with cabbage, with potatoes.
The coordinators are persuading Ivan to take off his jacket.
You're gonna be very hot in this jacket. Take it off, so you don't feel unwell.
I'm just making an unnecessary move. What's this for? I'm not worried.
Don't worry. Yes, he's worried that he'll make an unnecessary move.
An unnecessary move in the colony. An unnecessary move. You could get in trouble.
Dimitro is singing us a rebel song.
I would like to sing a Ukrainian song. It's called Machine Guns. Can I?
Let's do it together.
We certainly weren't invited here today, and frankly, they didn't expect to see us here at all. But make no mistake, our dusty machine guns won't fall from our hands, no matter what they think. We are here to stay.
He studied vocals as a child and is singing his heart out for the whole buzz to hear. Singing like that in captivity would have been deadly dangerous.
In front of those scumbags, if you can even call them that, I didn't sing in front of them. But among the guys I was held with, we sang. They even told me themselves, quiet, sit still, don't sing, because they'll hear us.
But now you can. They arrived to the anthem. Thank you. And they are leaving to the...
It is widely recognized as a powerful and moving piece of music that truly serves as an anthem as well, capturing the spirit of the entire generation.
Actually, they have already hugged us, they're already wrapped in flags, and they even started singing. But now it's such a happy, important moment for them, as they are finally going home. It's such great happiness that it's impossible to just describe in words when you have the opportunity to just go home. Natalia Nahorna, Nili Kowalska, Irina Markovich, Andriy Machenko, Volodymyr Parahansky, Alexei Tsolber.
Glory to Ukraine and...
Pavlo Sadovnikov, TSN 1+, United News Marathon.